Hello, welcome back to the channel and welcome in the all-new 2024 Renault Scenic. Now finally Renault is offering a bigger electric car because so far they've only been offering small electric hatchbacks, like for instance the Zoe, which they introduced back in 2013, and then the electric Twingo, and then a couple of years ago the Renault E-Tech Electric, which is not super small, but it is definitely not a big family car. Now this new Scenic does offer a lot of space for an entire family, and in this video I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about this new fully electric SUV from Renault. I'm going to tell you the specs on this car, how fast the car can charge, what the range on this car is, and I'm going to show you the practical side of this car, and I'm going to tell you what this car is like to drive. Let's kick the video off by talking about the specifications on this car. There are two battery sizes in this car. You can get either a 60 kWh battery pack or a 78 kWh battery pack. Now with the smaller battery pack, this car has a range of 420 kilometers. If you go for the bigger battery pack, this car offers a range of 620 kilometers. And if you go for the bigger battery pack, you get a different motor. The motor is always on the front axle, driving the front wheels. And if you go for the bigger battery pack, you get an electric motor that produces 220 horsepower. If you go for the 60 kWh battery pack, you get an electric motor that produces 170 horsepower. So that means that the bigger battery pack offers more power and is faster from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour. It takes around 8.5 seconds. If you go for the smaller battery pack, it takes around 9.5 seconds from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour. Now the top speed is also lower. If you go for the smaller battery pack, the top speed is 150 kilometers an hour with the smaller battery pack, and with the bigger battery pack you got a top speed of 170 kilometers an hour. You get a couple of regen modes on this car. You get these flappy pedals behind the steering wheel, just like the Peugeot E3008, which I also recently reviewed. So if you want to know more about that car, which is a direct competitor of this car, make sure you check out that video. I will leave a link in the description below. But like I said, you get some flappy pedals, and then you can choose from 4 different regenerative braking modes. If you put the car in the highest regenerative braking mode, the car will basically come to a standstill, but you still need to press the brake pedal to completely come to a stop. You also got a couple of different drive modes on this car. If you want to change drive modes, you have to press the multi-sense button on the steering wheel, and then you can choose from sport, eco and normal. If you put the car in the sport mode, you get the full power output of 220 horsepower, because that's the version I'm driving right now with the bigger battery pack and the more powerful electric motor. Now when you put the car in sport mode, the car isn't super fast like some electric cars are, because this car only has 220 horsepower max power output, but the car definitely isn't slow. You still got the instant torque from the electric motor, so that means you're still pretty fast off the line, and you're still faster than at least 50% of most petrol cars. Having said that, if you're looking for a really fast electric car, this isn't it. However, if you're looking for the most comfortable electric car out there, well, this also isn't it. It is pretty comfortable, but not super comfortable. You still got pretty stiff suspension that you kind of need to handle the big weight on this car. The car actually isn't that heavy. It only weighs around 1900 kilos, which isn't that heavy if you take into account this is the car with the bigger battery pack, almost 90 kilowatt hours, and it is a big SUV. So the weight isn't actually that high, but you do get that pretty stiff suspension. Now the backseat area is a pretty comfortable place to be. You got tons of knee room and also a lot of headroom, especially if you go for this panoramic roof, which offers just a little bit more head space. Now here up front, the interior looks really familiar because this is basically the same interior that you get in the new Renault Espace. That means you get 2 screens in front of you, a vertical digital gauge cluster and a horizontal infotainment system. Now the infotainment system runs on Android Automotive, which is the Google infotainment system. It's a really fast system and it uses all the Google apps. It also has the Google Play Store and also apps like Spotify, for example. Google Maps is the native navigation system on this car, which is basically the best navigation system out there. So it's really helpful that this car offers that as standard. And there's also a lot of space here in the interior to leave all your stuff. So you get 2 big cup holders here in the center console. You got some space beneath the armrest, and you got 2 USB-C ports up front here. And so that's basically everything in a nutshell that you need to know about this new Renault Scenic. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this in the future, hit that subscribe button, and then I'll see you in the next video.